It all began in the 1950s when Fidel Castro rose to power in Cuba. Despite the fact that the U.S. didn't like his government, they still attempted to remain diplomatic towards them. This did not last very long, and by 1960, President Eisenhower ended all trade with Cuba. Shortly thereafter, President Eisenhower and the CIA began rounding up Cuban exiles and training them to fight against Fidel and his army. That's where I come in. I moved to Miami shortly before Castro took power, and I was soon enlisted into one of the training camps in Miami. For the first few months, government supplied us with weapons and trained us in certain tactics and procedures that would help us beat Fidel's army. By April 17, 1961, me and over 1,000 other men were ready to invade the Bay of Pigs. The plan was simple, just cause enough distraction so the new government would be established, thus overthrowing Fidel's government. However, right before the start, the plan was a failure. First of all, it was obvious to Cuban military that it was our planes, as evidenced by some leaked photographs. Additionally, we didn't get any support from the local population, even though the American government thought they would help us since we were Cuban. President Kennedy, who was elected right before the mission began, had the option of using Air Force to help back up our armies. However, he failed to use them. Because of this, we were put down by Castro's army. 90 of my peers were killed, and the rest, including me, were taken as prisoners. I was one of the few prisoners lucky enough to make it back to the U.S., only to see the negative ramifications of the invasion. Many criticized Kennedy for not giving us enough support for our troops. Others just condemned the entire invasion, saying its plan and execution were flawed from the start. Despite individual opinions about the invasion I participated in, there is one thing everyone, even I, can agree on. The invasion was a failure. Cuba remained under Castro's rule, and now Cuba was even more blocked off from the rest of the world than ever. Castro was now convinced that the U.S. would try to invade them again. All these reactions made for an even larger event, the Cuban Missile Crisis.